Let's talk about the Atlanta Falcons. So there's a couple things to talk about. The first one is they have a new defensive coordinator who has no fucking track record at all. The Saints defense was shit. So I don't understand it. I don't understand why they're hiring people. There's this young trend. Hey, these guys are, the Saints defense was not what it was supposed to be. And I would look at this guy and be like, can you explain to me why that happened? And I don't know that he could make up enough bullshit to convince me. So I don't expect that to be an improvement. I could be wrong, but I would say it's probably like a 20-80 that 20% he may be successful and 80% that I'm going to end up being right about it. So I'm not really excited about that. I would think that would come into the quarterback question. I know Jimmy Garoppolo's name's being thrown around here. We've been talking about Derek Carr. If I was one of those quarterbacks, I wouldn't go to a team that could probably end up having a shitty defense in the same division like their division rival had last year. I don't know where that goes. That's just my 2 cents about that. What do you think? And about anything? I mean, not just the defensive coordinator, but particularly the quarterback carousel.
Yeah, this is a tricky one, right? Because they have Desmond Ridder. You just drafted Desmond Ridder. Do you roll with him, or do you try to bring in a veteran, like a Jimmy Garoppolo, and have Ridder sit behind him and see how to play quarterback? But there are so many holes on this roster. You have to get a receiver figured out, offensive line. Like you just drafted Tyler Algier last year. You have Cordero Patterson. You're going to have to get a running back at some point. You're going to have to fit the defense. I mean, you talk about the defensive coordinator, the talent on that defense is completely devoid of it. Like you have Grady Jarrett at defensive tackle. Outside of that, A.J. Terrell, one of the best corners in the league after a bad first season in the NFL. But he's come around and turned into one of the best corners in 2022. Outside of that, like you have to completely rebuild the defense. Like this is a full rebuild. They're still trying to get over what the situation they put themselves in, trying to win a Super Bowl with Matt Ryan and Julio in the last years of those guys being there and trying to come back from that. They're in rebuild mode. And so I would, if I were them, I'm not a big Ridder guy. I would go out and get a veteran quarterback and get somebody to kind of get Ridder to learn how to play the NFL game. He just didn't look like the guy for the future in the few games that he played for them last year. But again, part of that is because the team around him isn't very good. But I do think that Arthur Smith is a good coach. So I do trust him going forward. I would trust him. I know the record doesn't speak for that, but I do have the opinion that he's a good coach and he can figure it out. So it'll be interesting to see if they draft a guy coming up or if they stick with Ridder or if they go get a veteran guy, because that's where it all starts. You can have a good coach, but if the coach doesn't have a quarterback, then the whole thing could fall apart. So it'll be interesting to see what's happening to this team. There's a lot of questions that they have to get answered going into the offseason. But again, like we both talked about, it kind of starts and ends with that quarterback position.